Hello everybody, welcome to my presentation of the paper Compensation Goals and Firm Performance written by Milborn et al. I will first give a short introduction about the paper and tell you guys about the relevance. Then I will explain the data which has been used. Next I will discuss the empirical analysis and the methodology. Hereafter there will be an explanation of target ratcheting, and at the end I will conclude the main findings of this paper. Nowadays, there are a lot of firms which implemented the use of incentive contracts to encourage the CEO to act in the best interest of the shareholders. Rewarding managers for achieving explicit performance goals certainly has a bright side, but identifying explicit performance goals and having jumps and kinks in the pay for performance relationship may also have a dark side. This research is relevant because it shows new evidence of executives managing accounting performance to achieve compensation goals. The results highlight the costs of having explicit performance goals when executives exercise power over the reported performance. They obtain data on performance goals from Incentive Lab. This paper has information on all the cash, stock and option grants awarded to a top 5 highest paid executives of the 750 largest firms by market capitalization over the time period 1998 until 2012. Given the interest to detect performance management, for most of the paper we focus on grants to the firm's CEO linked to an absolute accounting-based metric that they can match with actual performance as reported in Compenstation. This results in a sample of 5,810 grants awarded by 974 firms. In this research, they used the test of McGrary to identify if a probability density has a statistically significant discontinuity at a given point. The regression-based test compared the size of the discontinuities is similar to the test in McGrary and involves comparing the actual number of firms whose performance falls within a bin to an expected number. If firms manage reported performance so as to exceed a goal, then we expect their reported performance to fall near the performance goal. Bootstrapping test and regression analysis is used to determine whether the results are robust. I will now discuss the results of this research. The first finding is that a disproportionately large number of firms just exceed the goals by a small margin as compared to the number of firms that just fail to meet the goals following the test of McGrary. In other words, the distribution of reported performance exhibits a discontinuity around the goal. This means that firms manage reported accounting performance to meet the goal. As shown in the figure, with all of these tests, they found a significant discontinuity for EPS goals, where there is a relative large amount of firms which just exceed the goal, whereas a relative small amount just misses the goal. The main findings of this effect is that it will be stronger for grants contingent on a single metric, for grants with a concave kink at the target, and for grants those with non-equity payout. I will explain these effects on the next slides. An important feature of the data is that the payout from a grant can be contingent on a single metric or multiple metrics. Since metrics are generally positively correlated, it will be difficult for managers to just barely beat the target for all metrics simultaneously. For example, if a CEO manages reported performance to beat an EPS goal by a small margin, she might actually beat the profit goal by a wider margin. According to this reasoning, they found greater performance clustering for grants contingent on one metric because of performance management. I will now discuss the difference of the discontinuity effect when the kink in the pay for performance relationship is concave versus convex. If the kink is concave, it may reduce the manager's incentives to improve firm performance much beyond the kink. On the other hand, if the kink is convex, it will not only incentivize managers to push performance beyond the kink, but may also affect their incentives to take risks. Table 2 reports the results of an OLS regression relating number of firms whose performance falls within a bin. In column 3, the variables concave and convex are included. The results in column 3 shows that only the coefficient on concave is significant. This implies that the discontinuity effect will be stronger for grants with a concave kink. Grants may involve an equity or a non-equity payout. To the extent the stock price is positively related to the performance metric, a grant involving equity payout is likely to introduce convexity in the pay for performance relationship. When they compare grants with equity and non-equity payouts, they find a significant discontinuity at the target only for grants that involve non-equity payouts. This is consistent with the presence of a discontinuity for concave grants and not for convex grants. I will now discuss the reasons for target clustering. Explicit target performance goals may also influence report firm performance for reasons not directly related to the payout from the grant. Managers may not want to exceed the target performance by a large amount if better current period performance results in higher targets in subsequent periods. As shown in the table, there is a strong positive significant relation between targets and past performance. Another reason for target clustering is the forced turnover effect. If the board focuses on the target as the expected performance and punishes underperformance, say by firing the CEO, then CEOs may want to achieve the target performance and not fall short. We call this the forced turnover effect. As shown in the table, the relation between missing the target and forced turnover is significantly positive. Then we came to the conclusion of the paper. We find evidence consistent with executives managing reported accounting performance to achieve compensation goals. A disproportionately large number of firms just exceed the goals as compared to the number of firms that just fail to meet the goals. This effect is present for earnings-based goals, and is stronger among executives who receive grants contingent on a single metric as opposed to grants contingent on multiple metrics. This effect is also stronger for grants with a concave kink at the target and those with non-equity payouts, such as cash. The two reasons for target clustering are target ratcheting and forced turnover. But if compensation is based on relative performance goals, tendency for firms to just beat the performance is not found. Thank you for your attention, and I'll see you next Tuesday.